There is a void that exists even in the middle of a crowd. It is the absence of a mother who wasn't there. And that absence, no matter how invisible, shapes every aspect of who you become. It shapes how you love, how you trust, how you look at yourself in the mirror when no one is watching. Let's talk about the consequences of an absent mother. It almost feels like a betrayal just to say it, because motherhood is surrounded by an aura of sacredness. Mothers are supposed to be present, supposed to love unconditionally, supposed to be the safe harbor. But reality is more complicated. And when that presence is missing, when that safety never existed, the child doesn't just learn to fend for themselves. They learn a much more devastating lesson. They learn that love is fragile, that safety is an illusion, and that trusting is dangerous. Let's start from the beginning, from what happens in the first years of life. Psychologists talk about attachment, that primordial bond between mother and child that becomes the model for all future relationships. A present and responsive mother teaches the child that the world is a safe place. She teaches them that when they cry, someone comes. That when they're scared, they can find comfort. That they exist, that they matter, that they are worthy of care. But when that mother is absent, physically or emotionally, the child learns something completely different. They learn that their needs don't matter, that their pain is not important enough, that they must manage on their own always from their very first breath. And this lesson becomes the lens through which they see everything else in life. They become adults who think that asking for help is weakness, that showing vulnerability is dangerous, that if you want something, you must get it yourself because no one will come to save you. It's not cynicism, it's survival. It's the way a child's brain protects itself from the unbearable truth that the person who was supposed to love them the most wasn't there. Research in developmental psychology is clear on this point. Children raised without a stable maternal figure show significantly higher rates of attachment disorders. They develop what is called avoidant or disorganized attachment. It means they learn not to rely on anyone. They build walls so high that not even they themselves can climb over them anymore. And then they wonder why they feel lonely, why relationships always seem superficial, why they can never fully let go with someone. But there is another side, more subtle and even more painful. When a mother is absent, the child doesn't just think she left. They think she left because of them. Because children don't have the tools to understand complexity. They can't understand that a mother can be depressed, traumatized, addicted, incapable. They can't see beyond their own need, so they take that absence and turn it into a story about themselves. I'm not enough. If only I had been better, quieter, more lovable, she would have stayed. And this story becomes the core of their identity. They grow up carrying this hidden belief. They strive to be perfect, thinking that maybe that way someone will finally stay. Or they do the opposite, sabotaging every relationship before the other person can abandon them, because at least this way they control the pain. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fear of abandonment becomes so strong that they create exactly what they fear. The emotional consequences are deep and long-lasting. Studies show that children raised without a present mother have higher rates of anxiety, depression, and personality disorders. They struggle with emotional regulation because a mother, when she is present, is the first teacher of emotions. She is the one who tells the child, "I see you're sad, it's okay, I'm here." She is the one who calms them when they're overwhelmed. She is the one who teaches them that emotions are natural, manageable, that they won't destroy you. But without that guidance, the child is left alone with inner storms they don't know how to navigate. And so they develop coping mechanisms that seem to work in the short term, but become destructive in the long run. Some children learn to dissociate, to shut their emotions off completely. They become adults who say, "I'm fine," even when they are collapsing, because they learn too early that no one is truly interested in how they feel. Others explode in ways that scare them, because they've spent years holding everything in until there is no more space inside. There is also a deep shame that surrounds all of this, because in our culture, not having a present mother is still seen as something to be ashamed of, as if it were a personal flaw instead of a circumstance. So these children, now adults, often hide that part of their story. They smile when someone talks about Mother's Day. They make excuses when someone asks about their family. They build elaborate facades to hide the emptiness they carry inside. And that shame becomes an additional burden, another reason why healing is so difficult. But let's also talk about the specific impact on girls and boys, because maternal absence creates different wounds depending on gender. For a girl, the mother is the first mirror of femininity. It is from her that she learns what it means to be a woman. She learns how to care for her body, how to navigate relationships, how to exist in the world. When that mother is missing, the girl grows up without that essential guidance. She constantly wonders whether she is doing everything right. She compares herself with other girls who have mothers and feels she is always one step behind. She doesn't know how to read social cues, how to manage female friendships, how to be gentle with herself. And then there's the issue of self-care. A mother teaches her daughter, often without words, that her body matters, that her needs are important, that she deserves kindness. But without that mother, many girls grow up treating themselves with devastating harshness. They don't know how to rest, how to nourish themselves properly, how to listen to their bodies, because no one ever showed them they were worthy of that care. Some studies show that girls without present mothers have higher rates of eating disorders and self-harm, because the body becomes the place where they express all the pain they were never allowed to voice. For boys, maternal absence creates a different vulnerability. A mother teaches her son how to connect emotionally, how to be vulnerable, how to express tenderness. Without that presence, many boys grow up emotionally illiterate. They know how to be strong, how to be tough, but they don't know how to say, "I'm scared," or "I need help." They become men who struggle with intimacy, who keep people at a distance, who confuse emotional shutdown with strength. And then there is the way they seek women in their lives. Some desperately try to recreate that maternal bond in every romantic relationship, placing impossible pressure on their partners. Others go to the opposite extreme, avoiding any form of emotional dependence, convinced that needing someone makes them weak. In both cases, the shadow of the absent mother shapes every choice, every relationship, every moment of closeness. But not everything is lost, because there is something extraordinarily resilient in the human spirit. Many children raised without a mother develop qualities that others cannot even imagine. They become incredibly independent. They learn to rely on themselves in ways that make them capable, determined, unstoppable. They become natural problem solvers because they had to solve problems their peers never faced. And there is something deeper. Many of them develop extraordinary empathy because they know pain. They know what it means to be alone, invisible, unseen. And that knowledge makes them incredibly sensitive to the suffering of others. They become the people who notice when someone is hurting even when they smile. They become the ones who show up, who listen, who stay. Not because someone taught them to do so, but because they know what it feels like when no one does it for you. This ability to turn pain into compassion is perhaps the hidden gift of maternal absence. It doesn't erase the wound, but it gives it meaning. It transforms something devastating into something precious. And many adults who have walked this path become extraordinary parents, friends, partners, precisely because they are determined to give what they never had. But let's get to the crucial point. How do you heal from maternal absence? The answer isn't simple, but it begins with acknowledgement. It begins with saying out loud, maybe for the first time, "My mother wasn't there, and that hurt me." Not to remain a victim, but to see the truth. Because as long as you deny that wound, as long as you pretend it didn't matter, that wound keeps controlling you from the shadows. Then comes the work of separating who you are from what happened to you. It's so easy to believe that your mother's absence says something about you, about your worth. But the truth is different. Your mother wasn't there for reasons that had to do with her. Her wounds, her limitations, her traumas. It had nothing to do with how lovable you were. This understanding is revolutionary because you can finally stop carrying that guilt that was never yours. And then there is the concept of reparenting, of becoming the parent you never had for yourself. It means learning to speak to yourself with kindness. It means noticing when you need rest and allowing yourself to rest. It means learning to say I'm scared and not being ashamed of it. It means building that inner maternal voice that tells you, it's okay, you're safe, I am here for you. At first it feels impossible, almost ridiculous. But with time, with practice, that voice becomes real. And when it becomes real, something changes deeply inside you. There is also the power of reparative relationships. Not to replace the mother who wasn't there, but to show that secure connection is possible. Therapy with a professional who offers that safe space. A friendship where you can finally be vulnerable. A romantic relationship where you learn, slowly, that not everyone leaves. These experiences rewrite old beliefs. They show that your early experience was not a definitive sentence on how relationships work. And then there is the work of building a chosen family. Many adults raised without a mother find maternal figures in other people. An aunt, a grandmother, an older friend, a mentor. These relationships don't erase the original absence, but they offer something precious. Proof that maternal love exists, that you are worthy of receiving it, even if it came later and from different people. The truth is this: growing up without a mother changes you. It marks you in ways that never fully disappear. But that scar doesn't have to define you. It can inform you. It can make you deeper, more compassionate, more aware. It can become the source of your strength instead of your shame. But only if you do the work. Only if you look at that wound instead of running from it. Only if you choose to treat yourself with the tenderness you didn't receive. In the end, the psychology of a child raised with an absent mother teaches us something fundamental about love and survival. It teaches us that we can survive even the most primordial absence, that we can learn to love even without having seen how it's done, that we can become whole even when we started off fragmented. It's not easy, but it's possible. And perhaps that stubborn hope that healing exists even after the deepest pain is the most important lesson of all. Because if you can heal from this, you can heal from anything. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in a comment and subscribe to the channel for more. See you soon.